came here to get married in 2000. You can view a few different pictures here, but the first one that have the look like a church. Well, this is a church. That old building there, Pastor Dave went there, and he was able to see it. And construction of that church was actually in 1997. When my dad built that church, it wasn't that big, but it was a really small one, and that was the same year. What we did was not sufficient because of the foundation wasn't really that strong. Anytime you have like a hurricane, then it will break again. But in 2010, we got hit heavily by 7.0 earthquake that was hit in west, which is Port-au-Prince mainly. But we got affected about 120 miles from the capital, and we were affected. But that was really that wasn't as severe as it was as if we were in the capital. But in 2018, that's when, I think it was a 5.6 or so earthquake hit again, and then that's happened in Northwest, and that destroyed this building, and then it give us the obligation to break down the building. You see the part that break down on the bottom, and then the one in the top. You can see that's the new one. But we did that because of the school that was in the church, and we didn't want that happened in October, I think 6-7 October in the evening, and the Lord gave us the privilege with the help of the supporters. We are able to rebuild that from October to December. I think the last time we poured the concrete over the roof, 7 classrooms, in December 27, 2018. From October 2018 to December, this whole work was done. And it was done because of the help of the Lord. So we do thank you for your support and your prayer as well. Our ministry in Haiti, we have, first of all, this evangelistic outreach, which is really important, and we will express them as we go on. Then we have church planting and children ministry, training leaders, education ministry. As for our church ministry, we first of all we have the church you have seen earlier. We have this team that usually go. We started doing that work from 2010, and I think we do it during the carnival time in Haiti. And so we went to a church, and then we established there for about like 2 or 3 days, and then do door-to-door preaching and evening services with inviting people to listen to the Word of God. And those that receive Christ, we handle them to the local church that are there. So every year we're able to go different places. This is the truck you see there. That's how we be able to go. It's really dusty. And of course, Pastor have an experience about it, and Brother Arim as well. And so we have opened our services. So as we preach, people come to know the Lord, and of course, we baptize them. The baptism it can be done depend to where the churches are. If the churches are in the mainland, away from the sea, and we do it at the river. And in that particular case, you see the color of the water there. It's not normal to be that way, but it was because it was raining the day prior to that, So the river was flooded, and it brought a lot of mud. But seeing that, I thought the people will say, okay, Pastor, let's do it next time. But yet they were more interested than me. So they say, let's go. It doesn't matter it was muddy or not, just do it. So they were happy to get baptized, and the water was a river. But next was we got on the sea as well. And so we thank God for those souls who come to know the Lord and get baptized and added onto the churches. The Emmanuel Baptist Church, island of La Tortue, which is called Tortuga Island, this is my father here, and so he's still preaching, and he's 84 years old, so he's still preaching. He's blind, but he remembered the verses, so that will not be a problem for him. So he will ask people to read, and then he will go preach. Okay, this is the island here. You see, to move from Port-de-Paix, which is, I hope you can see the Port-de-Paix there, and then the link to the island, and then that's where my father worked. But I am in the main island with different other churches, and then this church down there, we just innovated it, and so the people are really interested on doing the work of God there. So we thank God for that. I will show you a quick video that show you how it is dangerous, also fun, to go from the mainland to the island, cross the river, water, the sea, and I hope you may play and you can see some. Oops, sorry, get back. All right, we'll see about that. I need some volume here. Okay, now the head of that lady you see there, that's the boat, and then the other boat you see try to take over the one that lady is in. So they are racing now, but at the same time it is really dangerous because the boat is so flat as the level of the sea. At any time, any wrong move, everybody could go straight down on the water. But yet, it's a fun because it's custom, you know, and so they're having fun. I guess you probably will not hear the sound because of, I don't know how, it's just a bunch of noise they're making because they try to get ahead, you know, stuff like that. And so as you see how, okay, here you are, you know, they try to get ahead, and so normally you will go to the mainland. See that boat right there is ahead, but the other one try to get ahead of it. They're just happy to have fun. And if one of them hit each other, of course, it's trouble. And worst of it is that many people that live on that island, a lot of them don't even know how to swim. So whenever the boat sank, another boat have to go from the mainland to go to save them. And by the time it reach, a lot of them already down. And so, but there is no other way to go there. Of course, a helicopter does go, but we don't have that access of the helicopter. And you have to pay your way down there and to be able to go. For the distance, you can do 2 or 3 trips a day. But whenever the people in the island, that's where they come to the main island to be able to buy food and other materials. But it is not always easy because there are times when the boat sink, people die. And the veil, the sail, when it lay on the water, and if you are under the sail, you won't be able to make it to the surface of the water, so that will cause somebody to die. So it is that serious. And some of the times, the captain sometimes, when they realize that people may have some money on you, they may kill the people and throw them on the sea and get the money. That did happen once. Already, probably more than once. But anyway, so going there to where my father is, not only you have to pay your way over the sea, but also to be able to um, climb the mountain. Back to yes, sir, up the hill. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They use ropes and to be able to get the coffin. Even anything they want to get off the boat, they use like when they bring donkeys, cows, the big motorcycles. Anything you have to pull it from the rope that tight with the pole that is on the boat and try to make it down to the ground. And this is not easy. Back to the ministry of Emmanuel Baptist Church, I was able to train this young man and also ordain him to be in the church there as pastor, and that helped me to be able to go back and forth to other churches to do more training here. Now we're going all the way to the next side of the island, which is Jacmel. That's southeast. That's behind Port-au-Prince. And of course, for us, my last brother and his wife there, I went there to ordain him as a pastor on that church. And thank God I was able to do it as quick as before the trouble came, because to go to Jacmel from Port-au-Prince is just like from one end to the next. You have to actually travel like the whole day, and about 5 to 7 hours to the capital, and then about like 2 to 4 hours, depending how the situation is, to Jacmel. So that's a long time, and so to make it there. But now that road actually is abundant, and most of it grass going up in there. I'm talking about like the main road, because of the gangs now doing some craziness. But thank God he's there working, and so we were able to contact, find out how he's doing, and the ministry is growing a lot over there, and that's the biggest church in all of Emmanuel churches. Emmanuel Baptist Church of Font-Ramier, that's another church again. That's a church actually that was planted in 2017, and that area called Font-Ramier, which is a couple kilometers away from the main city Port-au-Prince, and that area actually did not have any church apart from some kilometers away. You can see the other churches, but that area was surrounded by red flag, actually, that really show these are the witch doctors. We call them Bokor Creole. And so whenever you see those flags, it's just like the devil embassy, So people go there for wishes and different interpolation, whatever. For us to be able to establish a church right in the middle of all them flags, where the witch doctors are doing magic and all using the devil power to do things, and it was not easy for us. I pray and I ask the Lord. I have desire to plant church, but I ask the Lord to give me people that lived somewhere where He would like me, so that they could introduce me, and that way He will make it a little easy. Because if you walk somewhere and nobody knows you, they probably kick you out. But in that case, I did find a guy who actually lived there, and he took me there. And of course, he had the desire for his church for his house, for his location to have church, because he used to go to church in the city. But now with me, so he was able to establish a church. So we did have our first service in December 24 on 2017, That building you see there, we have it with 2x4s and also metal sheets that 6 feet long and by 3 feet wide. Those metal sheets. But this is not really a strong building, and the place we build the house, we build the church is the place his mother, the man mother, gave for school, and then gave us another land for the church. But the land that was given for the church to build the church was like he was busy with garden, and I didn't want to break the man garden because he gave it, so I had to wait until the time of harvest before I could work. So therefore, I went to the place where they give the land for the school, so we built that building there. And while we are there, somehow people try to turn his head against what he did so that he will reject for the church to be built there. And sure enough, he began to give me trouble. After we surveyed the land, he came on the land and planted again without no permission. And I sent messages to him, and he would not listen. Finally, when I went personally to talk to him, the man was get so mad. He was so hot. He was demonic. And of course, I was not afraid of him. And I say, listen, I come here to tell you that if you needed the land to have garden on, you just could have asked me, and I will let you. It will not be no problem. But when you just come in and do whatever you want, and it doesn't look nice, and after we already surveyed the land, that means you have no right anymore. Well, it was after I will come to understand that they set him up against me as against the church. But thank God that went well, and there was no trouble. His son come to know the Lord. And his son actually is assistant of the pastor there. And sad enough was his mother become a sorcery woman. And she come to establish her, I will say, her demon house right by the church and the yard. And that same place where the land was given to the church. So that was a serious attack right there. So from that time, she was really there, and then make interpolation, it really, the church began to have some issues because the attack from the enemy. But thank God, we could not work with the young people, either with the adult, but God trusted us with little ones. And that's why you see these young ones there. It was after a couple of years later, they growing up. But the Lord trusted us with the little ones, and they always come. So they growing up, and then we're teaching them how to sing. And then, of course, and then the couple you see in the corner here, he's the pastor that I ordained to work on the church. He's actually, this week, they actually have a week of revival. This week, actually. So I said last Sunday. So things are really working, and these young people now, they're getting growing up now. So the Lord really working. So KB, that's the name of the lady who become sorcery thing. And but he's still busy working. So that's the children choir. I don't have no song for them for now, but that's the uniform. Of course, my wife and I, we had to put ourselves out there to be able to buy uniform, to pay to manufacture the uniform and make the uniform. And some of them don't have shoes, so we have to do everything for these kids because their parents do not know the Lord, and a lot of them not even interested in sending them kids to church. But by we doing that and ask the kids to go to other churches to sing, ask this coming Monday will be Mother's Day in Haiti, so we will go to different churches and then sing for the mothers, and then those mothers will come over, and then by them seeing what the church children are doing, they get interested, and some of them give their lives to the Lord. So we thank God for that. Emmanuel Baptist Church of Jean Rabel, and of course that building you see there is not finished yet, And actually, that church was started by Brother Watson. He went there and he started the church. And of course, he went to another church. He asked for Brother Michel. You see, he's sitting there with his wife. And Brother Michel was actually there, but he didn't have nothing in hands when Brother Watson had to leave Haiti. Then he didn't get to go back. And then, of course, Brother Michel, one time we went to Soul Winning, a Soul Winning Marathon, and then we met him there. So he asked us to help him out. And when I went back and sit down with him, I found out that he didn't have any help as far as Bible concerned. So I sent him to Bible school where I was teaching. And I think he's supposed to be graduated this year. And then, of course, before I came here, like about 2 years ago, I went and ordained him as pastor of that church there. So he's working there in the place called Jean Abel. And I'm thankful. That's my father you see there. Back then, he was able to walk, and so he didn't lose his sight yet. So he gave his back toward the church. And Brother Michel at the door tried to open the door. So this is the work that we're doing. And for me to be able to do this work, I had to use a motorbike. And I will show you the motorbike next time. And going from my house to this church, to Font-Ramier, going up to Cabouché, and sometimes, just like, I'm just tiredless, and working hard, teaching all the time, and sometimes I get flat tires, and I have to push the motorcycles a couple kilometers away, and you keep pushing until you find somebody to help you to fix the motorcycle. If you're not, then you still have to push, and because you won't be able to go without the air, and it's really something. And sometime I went with a little bit of money, hoping that I will only have flat tires, but guess what? I have more than flat tires trouble. So my money will be over, and then sometimes it's really I have to leave the motorcycles and walk away, and then next day come for it. So wasn't an easy job, but yet it is now moving on. Now back to the island of Ladotti Island. There's an American missionary who actually started a ministry in Ladotti, in the island of Tortuga. And of course, there was another young man in my father's church that was in Ladotti as well. So came with him, and he established him in that church, not expecting that he will come back. But somehow he went, and then he left the ministry, and then he never get back. So when I was in sometime in the past, I don't remember, it was like 2001, I think it was, and I went to South Carolina, and of course from there, and I received a call in Tennessee to meet with the pastor that sent the missionary. And when I was there, and then he asked me, hey, how can you help me? Because I've been trying different people to oversee the church, and I heard of you. Are you working in Haiti? How can you help me to oversee the church? And I said, what exactly you want me to do? And then he says, well, they already have young men there by the name of Sonny, and I just have to just watch over them. I say, okay, no problem. This is what I can do. I will train the young people, because that's what I do them best. I will train them how to preach, how to do song leading, and how to witness, and I will do that. And of course, if there is any trouble, I will help, but I will not take the position of a pastor, because I have already too much work. So I was just doing the overseeing. So when I went back, sat down with them and be able to help them. So they begin to do that work there. You see the first building, you see that's what the missionary did, but they left everything like that. But now we started to do that work. For now, they further than now for today. So we just need to be able to pray for that ministry there. I think that's Emmaus Baptist Church. These are the leaders I already established in the ministry. And I got Brother Sidley, myself, Pastor Laurent, and Sonny. That's the one in that church, Emmaus. And then Sergo Joseph is working with my father, and Michel at the end was in Jean Abel. So you pray for these men because actually um, they have wives and children. So just like I'm privileged to go out to be able to raise support, but the truth is, I wish they could have the same privilege, but visa is not that easy, and also leaving the ministry is not that easy either. So pray that the Lord will do something to open the door for them to be able to get some support as well, so that the ministry can continue in Haiti. Our main target is actually the little ones, the children. Why we target the children is because they are the future of the church. Usually after you prepare the young people, they either go to come here or maybe go to Dominican Republic for better life, or they just leave the city and they go to a different city to just for work, because work is not that easy at all in Haiti, and the economy is so bad. Even the banks are really, really, really having a rough time to give people what you have in your account. And so they have to settle how much to give you per day in order for them to function. And if you have like $500 US dollars in your account, they say, well, today only 50 we can give you, or maybe only 100 we can give you. That's how bad it is. And if somebody try to send you money from the transfer, like Western Union, MoneyGram, and other way, if it's higher than 300, you better tell that person hold that money. They won't be able to give you more than 300, and sometimes they go lower up to 100. And then so sometimes the last one is just $50 they can give you. And if you have more, like 500, you're not gonna get that money. I don't care what problem you have, you're not gonna get it. So this is the situation. Of course, it's really tough. And I remember one time they were sending money for me, and I needed it so bad that I had to wait the next day because that person knew me. They said, listen, we got to let that money build up. Come tomorrow maybe. And I finally got it, and I'm so thankful. But some other people, even pregnant women, they are there. I mean, they don't get no money. It's tough. But anyway, you pray for them. Now we target the children because it's tomorrow's church. So, but it's still, we have problem. My wife does the children work a lot. And of course, she trained. That young lady you see standing there, actually, she come when she was like a teenager, and she gave her life to the Lord, and her sister. And what is so interesting about her is that her father is a witchcraft. When she gave her life to the Lord and her sister, her father sent a message to me and tell me that if, because they come to know the Lord, they said, okay, quitter l'évangile, prends soin nous, which means like, let the gospel of yours take care of you. We have nothing to do with you anymore. And they were serious about it. So their school could not pay, they could not get no food, nothing. And I sent a message back to him, say, yes, the gospel will do it. Whatever you understand by the gospel, they will do it. And of course, we'd have them there. The other sister, we sent them to like professional school. She was able to make clothes, to make money in order to help other sisters. And she continued to go to school, and she finished her school. And she was able to get married, and the church actually built a house for her, and we just handled her the key when she got married. So I was able to do the wedding ceremony. So and she's still working right now at the church. So you pray for her, as they going through some hard time in Haiti. So the problem with the kids is that either they want to go to church, but the parents will not always support them. They have to buy shoes for them. They don't mind buying shoes for them to go to school, but when it comes to church, no. So therefore, they have difficulties. Those that come today and next day, you don't see them. And of course, we do not have bus ministries. People walk to come to church, climbing mountains, cross rivers, you know. If it is raining hard enough, they cannot come, then okay. But even though if it is raining, then the next day it's okay, it's muddy, they will come in spite of that for the service. And you have to use two shoes, one to walk on the mud and then one to wear at the church. So you have it easy here. Eh? People pass by you and take you in bus, come to church, and then you not even want to. When the bus come, pom, 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 pom. You see, you hear that song, right? So, no, I'm not ready yet. Yeah, that's what you say. But over there, they have to come to church with different clothes in order to assist the services and different shoes and all that stuff. So you know now how to pray for them, I guess. The church has a school, and that's the school started in 2010 when I take over the ministry there. And then the school was there before, but it stopped for a long while. Then I started it. And now we have say over 150, exactly 163 children right now. During the Flag Day, they have activities like that. We have a Flag Day in 18th of May, which last Sunday we had it. But they couldn't have officially at the place they're supposed to have it because of the gangs. So anyway, back to church, the school. The school can only work the best when we have this. So when we have food, we're able to feed them. The school, we have better results in the exams and the evaluations than when we don't. So what happened is that when we have food at the school, the children give better performance than when don't. And sometimes it's just like you would think that they might have food at home to eat, but the truth is a lot of times they spend days without food. And some of the times they just take a grain of salt. You know, we have the organic salt. They put it under their tongue and then keep drinking water for the day. And that will hold them up for the day. And for other places, by the name of Jean Abel, where Pastor Michel is, there is a special clay they actually take from the dirt and they put salt in it, they eat it. And that will hold them for sometime a week or more. So this is serious. And we started a ministry of the food ministry, but somehow we stopped, and because of lack of fund. And now we face a serious difficulty with the school because we have like every month, like $1,000 to run everything, paying teachers and everything else. That $1,000 will come from our support. And of course, after we take off $1,000, if we ever get $1,300, $1,500, that's what left for us as family. So with that situation is making us in a position to make a serious decision. And we are praying, I gave that request here before, we are praying that the Lord will help me to make that decision because it's not easy for me. The decision is either we had to shut down the school where 14 workers in our churches will not get work, and I know what does that mean, or we suffer because we are on the edge of building house. We'll talk about the house later on. And this is a tough decision for us. I'm praying what the Lord will do. I don't want to go by my feelings. I know what my feeling wants, but I don't want to go by my feelings. I want to go by what God wants. And of course, your prayer and your support really mean to us so much. And so we continue praying. This year, if we don't have support, it's probably the last year for the school. And that is not a good news for the people in Haiti. It's really not. Now, even though the parents still paying something, but that will not help as every month for what they give. And what we ask them, like we ask them to give like $30 that will cover a whole year. And some of them, by the end of the year, they still can't find it. I say $30 at US money, like for the whole year. And that still can make it. So you pray for us, please, in that direction as we trust in God to help us to have wisdom to make wise decisions. Transportation. I told you about motorcycle, right? It's a motorbike. Can you see how many kids are on one motorbike? How much you see? Yeah, there's one that has more than one, right? Yeah, the bigger motorcycle, the more people they can get. And this is extremely dangerous because we have not all the roads paved. A lot of them, when it's raining, it's slippery, and the motorcycles usually fall. And when they do, all them kids, sometimes they break their legs, hurt their head, and different kind of trouble like that. So that's what I use as well, motorcycle. And we do have we had a truck, but he had some engine problem. And then, but the motorcycle actually gives you the best move because we can go anywhere with the motorcycle. Any little path you can go, but the truck will not be able to go, especially in the top of the mountains. But yet, that's the condition we are now. Now we come down to our house. In 2018, we get hit heavily by the earthquake, and the crack, we got some crack in 2010, added 2018 on it, the earthquake hit, so the crack really opened. Inside is really bad. I remember one time I was in church in Fouramier, where the children are, and the Lord put in my heart to pray for my family, pray for the safety. So I dropped on my knees without asking no question and pray for safety for my family. So I say maybe I will have some accident on the way, but I don't know. But anyway, I pass all the bad down hills, down the mountains, and reach home. I say, well, thank God, the Lord keep us safe. But I still don't know what was going on until my wife called me and said, come over here, let's see. We have concrete roof, and the ceiling is plastered, and then that plastered crack open and fall down on our bed, and it crashed the bed. And that was what happening when the Lord asked me to pray. And then we were protected. So, and then that's how, it happened while we were asleep. We could get damaged. I don't know if we're dead, but we'll see if we would get damaged. So we praying that to build our home, and this is the plan of our house. And of course, as the Lord leads for me to continue to do his work, he put in my heart to move north instead of northwest to do whatever he wants me to do. And so I'm willingly want to go where he will have me to do. So you pray for us to be able to establish ourselves in a new place, which we don't know. That's the first time we're going to be there. I pray that the Lord will use me as he wants to. Project to generate funds to support the ministry are this. Now, this is the reason why I come up with this project, is when I realized that last year, last year, we had in the States, they have flood, and then a lot of supporters got damaged, their houses, even the churches. What happened is that caused our support to drop. And therefore, I learned my lessons. I said, I need to do something in order to keep me going. Because getting support and not having something that is present to keep me and my family going, it won't be good. And the pastors that I showed you already. So I now praying for this project, farming, where we plant things and then sell them and then be able to use for the ministry and my family as well. poultry farming for eggs, and of course we have all the eggs and chickens from Dominican Republic. But if we do our own things, we probably can sell them and do something else with the money. And of course, purifying seawater and land for the projects. We realize that we need people to work, but we think of the young people to send them to professional school. That is the fundamental needs for this project. And let me show you some pictures here. For the poultry farming, we think about $1,000 to start with, to buy the chickens, and then the chickens will make the eggs, but of course we'll buy food to feed them, and then to get that and be able to sell them eggs, then to do something. And I realize that it is important for us to do something like that, so we need help in order to accomplish that. We also think of having seawater purification. The reason I'm thinking about the seawater is because for now, if it's rain, it will be like a heavy rain, like a rain like with flood, but it's not like a calm rain. But usually it will take like 2 to 3, even 4 months without rain or more without rain. And when it happens like that, it's not easy to get water. And when I'm thinking, if I have this equipment here to be able to purify the seawater, now I will not get the seawater from the sea itself because the sea is polluted. I will try to dig a hole on the beach and be able to get the sand, purify the water, and then get it through the machine, and then be able to sell that water. And that way, we will do something to keep ourselves alive, because Haiti is not headed toward positive things. It's more headed toward, falling apart like a falling state. And this is not a good news. And so I'll try to give you a view of the Port-au-Prince and Port-de-Paix, where the gangs are. You see Port-au-Prince, where you have the flesh going, that arrow going on there, and that whole color you see where the flesh is. I'm sorry, I keep saying flesh, that's French. The arrow, where the arrow goes pointed, it's Port-au-Prince, where a lot of violence is going on. Some of the, I think in that other color, Atibonite area that's close to it, look like reddish. And also that there is also occupied by gangs. And so we have to, for us to be able to go to Port-au-Prince here, the distance is actually about 10 or 20 miles away from us. But yet we still get affected because most of the things have to come from the capital to the provinces. So we have problem with the banks because the banks there is no way to go to get money from the capital. So that make the situation really hard. And for us in Port-de-Paix, we're just like in the corner there. So when they block us right there, if we don't have nothing, we won't be able to make it. And then they keep taking money from us. So I have a video. I think I have a video here. I want to show you about the gangs here. You probably have a quick question.
Gang violence grips the entire nation. The United Nations envoy has warned of a deadly coordinated takeover by armed gangs paralyzing Port-au-Prince and beyond. In fact, in just 2 months, over 1,000 people have been killed and over 60,000 have been displaced. And a Kenyan-led security force, which is far short of its target strength, is struggling to contain the chaos. The UN has called for urgent, decisive international action before it's too late. Here's more from the ground.
Haiti is teetering on the brink of collapse. Gang violence has surged to unprecedented levels, paralyzing the country's capital, Port-au-Prince.
Right now, we have nowhere to go. Everywhere we want to go is controlled by gangs. The gangs are coming for us, and in this situation, our backpacks are ready, but we don't know whether we should go up or down, as there's no place for us to go.
The United Nations top envoy for Haiti, Maria Isabel Salvador, delivered a dire warning on Monday. She addressed the UN Security Council, describing the violence as deliberate and coordinated.
La situation sécuritaire en Haïti.
The security situation in Haiti has further deteriorated. This time, I wish to sound the alarm and issue a call to help you to better understand what is liable to become a point of no return from the Haitian crisis.
De non-retour dans la crise haïtienne.
Organized crime groups are expanding territorial control nationwide.
That's barbecue right there. That's man who's scratching his head.
Capital Port-au-Prince's previously unaffected areas, Delmas and Pétionville, now face escalating attacks. The recent storming of Mekhabale marks the 5th prison break this year. Over 500 prisoners were freed in the latest assault.
Look at what happened the day before yesterday in the Marebelized commune. They know that the policemen arrested some men for illegal gun transportation. But we, the residents of the Salino neighborhood, we want to return home, and we will go home anyway.
According to UN figures, February and March saw over 1,000 people killed. Near 400 others were injured during this period, and more than 60,000 people have been newly displaced. The violence has plunged the population into widespread panic. Public frustration is at boiling point, with many forming protection groups. Thousands of Haitians have taken to streets demanding security reforms. Authorities are trying to reinforce police operations but lack resources.
The battle we face today is a battle between good and evil, because the gangs that rape and kill children are evil. We in the government, together with our partners who are helping us, are motivated to end insecurity.
The Multinational Security Support Mission, authorized in October 2023, offers international assistance. The Kenyan-led force was intended to deploy 2,500 officers. However, currently it has only 1,000 personnel from 6 nations. These numbers are proving inadequate against the gang's rising power.
Now as the forces came, the country can improve, but they must stay. If they come for 2 or 3 months or a year, that is not enough, because the country is going to fall into the same police problem we are afraid of. They are out of control. We don't know who is good and who is bad. We have to end this system.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres echoed similar concerns in a confidential report. He stressed that immediate international support was required to prevent disaster. The report revealed 2,660 homicides from December 2024 to February 2025. This marks a 41.3% increase over the previous quarter. Cholera outbreaks have added to the humanitarian crisis. At least 39 health facilities and over 900 schools have shut down. And conditions in displacement sites also remain dire, with critical shortages of shelter and sanitation.
We and our partners are continuing to provide assistance, including surveillance, lab support, case management, risk communication, vaccination, water, sanitation services, and infection prevention and control.
Haiti's ambassador to the UN, Eric Pierre, said his country is slowly dying. He blamed armed gangs, arms dealers, and drug traffickers for the crisis and urgently appealed for international support to eliminate the gangs. With the UN warning of a looming point of no return, the necessity of urgent global assistance is more important than anything for the Haitians. Or else, the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere could slip into total chaos.
Greeting you with aloha and namaste.
I love India.
Presence, occupation.
Yes, what you have seen, this was actually, we have a whole lot worse than that. Can you imagine them guys enter into a hospital and put fire in it? Open prison about 5 times in 5 different locations. And also burn churches and burn houses, kill babies. And the police just found out a whole hospital that left out of service, they found a lot of dead bodies in them without the parts, body parts in them. Like there is no, like they selling the body parts, and then those police just found out that. So we have a lot with drugs, guns, and violence and killings. So the thing is not easy at all for those Haitians. So your prayer is very important. I don't know if you have any question, but I think that's what we stop for now. Yes, sir.
You said you're still looking for support to be able to keep open your school.
Yes, sir.
Correct? But you also said that even if money is sent, you can't even withdraw it.
Yes, sir.
How can you work around that? How is there a way?
Well, thank God I found another brother of mine. He has a way of doing money transfer, but it's risk where you can give it to him and then he will take it to the city that is safer, and then they will have to take boat or car or motorcycle to take it to the city where we are, and then that's how the people can get the money. They can be cash. Well, cash is what we need. You don't.
I understand, but I mean, there's no certain cash to be buying. There's no
Yeah, man. Credit card. Nah. It's not that there is no machine for it in that city, but whatever the amount the bank allowed you to take, that's what you can take. And of course, if you send the money in my account and I can get it in Haiti, and then instead of, if it's a U.S. account, they will not give me as much as U.S. money I want. They will rather change it into good, which is Haitian money, and then be able to give it to you that way, but yet on their limit. Yes, sir. Any other? Yes, ma'am.
The president of Haiti, is he a believer? I mean, why is he not controlling all of this, what is happening in Haiti? What's happening? I mean, why? Let me ask a question. I've heard this saying one time ago that all of this is happening to Haiti because they give their soul to the devil. Is that true?
Well, there is a lot of things people saying out there. What could have happened? Well, what about them believers? What about these churches? They don't give their soul to the devil, you know. But people say a lot of things, right? And I do know that we have a good amount of Haitians who actually sell themselves to the devil. Yes, it's true, but as well, we have a lot of churches, we have a lot of believers as well. And I will say, if it wasn't for the believers, I don't know what will happen to Haiti.
Bless. We should give thanks because we complain every day.
Yes, ma'am.
And not giving God thanks. And like how God told Abraham, his nephew Lot, if I find 10 just people in Sodom, I would spare it. And it wasn't even 10. It was only Lot, his wife, and his 2 daughters.
Yeah.
So I am saying we are covered here by the blood of Jesus.
Yes, ma'am.
We have more than 10.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have praying people, and I just pray that we as Christians will stray away from that wickedness, that evilness, and just go to God.
That's right.
It is so sad what is going on, what is happening, and we don't hate. I mean, I don't. We don't hate Haitians, and we don't hate anybody. We just gotta pray for them so they can know the truth.
That's right.
And live in God.
Amen. Thank you.
You see, that's what's going to happen. That's what we need to do.
Exactly.
Okay, and it's causing people to bring hatred amongst them because they said, oh, they come and they can bring this, that. But it's for you not to give into that. Don't give into that.
Yes.
Just pray.
Yeah. Thank you.
It is sad. I mean, I'm sad and looking at it. I mean, I think it is sad and how they risk their lives just to come out there. And I was watching that boat, And that's the same kind of boat they come across the ocean and they die every day.
Yes,
by
ma'am.
the thousands, by the hundreds.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you could stay in your nation, just stay there and pray and ask God. God is going to keep you. That's my belief.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Any other question? Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Why do you think the gangs are doing what they really doing? Like, what is the motive behind it? Why do you think that?
I just got the news that before, like maybe 2 weeks ago, there were a lot of Americans who actually stay in the U.S. Embassy, and they had nothing to do with the government, and they influence, of course, the gangs to get them guns and other things like drones. But I just got information 2 weeks ago that Donald Trump sent a helicopter there and clean them up and just take them, shoot them right back to the States. These are those people who had nothing to do with the government, but they talk on behalf of U.S. Embassy, and they actually supported the gangs. Even they supported the gangs to kidnap U.S. people for money, and then this is a whole lot mess. Here is a mess, and now this thing is in public. It's not private anymore. So they got some big hand behind them. Yes, sir. Yeah. Say that again. Oh, you're talking about the evaluation. We have it. The money is good. Sometimes we call it dollar because it used to be equal with U.S. money, but it's no more. It's if you have 100 US dollars, it will equal $2,600 in Haiti. Yeah. So you can have it like 26.5, 26 point, something like that. And then, of course, let me put it in good, because that just used to be dollar, which we have it in two ways. But when you call good, is you have to multiply it by 5. 2,600 multiplied by 5. That tell you how much good you got for 100 US dollars. Yes. Other question before we go? You did mention about the president. Somehow, I don't know what the name I should call this, but the community, international community, put together with CARICOM, they force in our face 9 big teeth, and they have 2 of them that has no access to be president, but they have 7 president. And every 4 months, somebody become the president. 9 big teeth. And they put together with the gangs, and when they can hurt the people, they say nothing. And when the people go behind them, they shoot tear gas, and they shoot real bullet on the people. So we really need God for help. That's what I think that's about it all, Pastor. Amen. Yes, sir. Thank you, Pastor, for the privilege, and thank you for listening. God bless you.
Amen. It's a lot of work to do in Haiti, amen? A lot of work. Hopefully you'll give towards the cause, invest in lives being changed, and invest in what Paul put it this way. He says, there's a great and effectual door open unto me, and there are many what? Adversaries. Many adversaries. Great door, many adversaries. You see a lot of power work going on, demon power, then you could mark it down. God's working, but the demons are going to focus where God is working the greatest. So that means a whole lot too. All right, how's the electricity going in Port-au-Pay? They still got it every day? How long, when do they get electricity? If you get electricity today, when you'll have it again?
Well, the electricity is difficult because you have to come over the work.
Okay, so if you get electricity today, how long is that for?
Maybe
Next month again, okay. So, yeah, so, and right, and they use the word generators too? And they steal the generator too?
Yes, sir.
The church generator got stolen?
Yes, sir.
I tell you, it's something to see, it's something to know. And then all you who have descendants from there, I don't see why you don't support more. Be more inclined to give towards your history, towards where your connections with. You know what I mean? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But sometimes the people who they tend to be the cheapest. They tend the ones who don't give a dime. Strange, but it shouldn't be. All right, let's everybody stand. Thank you for being here tonight, enjoying the information. And